Hello everyone, my name's Chris Hushin, and I fell in love with the Dress-A-Girl organization last year and have made several dresses, and I really think the world of this organization and their mission. There was a good video out on how to make the elastic dresses, but we can't find it anymore, so I've decided to make a video for everyone. The first thing I wanted to say is open your kit. You should have a package of instructions, and you can go through this little checklist and make sure you have everything that's included on that checklist. So you should have armhole template, a couple of straps that will be used for the elastic straps going over the shoulder and the yoke over the chest and the back. 4 strips of elastic, miscellaneous buttons and lace and rickrack and various things that won't be exactly the same in every kit. And you should have a couple of pockets cut out. They should be about 6 by 6 inches. You may or may not have pocket liners depending on the fabric and who was putting the kit together. And most importantly, you should have the Dress-A-Girl Around the World label. And this will go on the dress in several optional places that you can do it on the pocket or in the back by the kick pleat. I'm doing a large dress, so it's important to have a kick pleat in the large dresses so the gals can walk comfortably. I'm gonna iron all my fabric, and then I'll come back and talk about making your pockets. Okay, everything is pressed, and I wanted to point out in your instructions in the guidelines section, please take the time to read that. It's really good information. On the pockets, it gives you suggestions on how to place the pocket on the dress. And it also reminds you to have no raw edges. If you have raw edges, please serge them or zigzag them or turn them under a quarter and another quarter so that there are no raw edges on the dress. We want these dresses to be good quality, not hand-me-down kind of stuff. Sometimes it's the only dress these girls will ever have in their young lives. So it's important that they help the girls to know that they are loved by God. So you can do the pockets a couple ways. If you have a liner, you can put right sides together and sew the lining on and leave a little space. I've got a mark here to stop sewing there so I can turn it right side out and then just sew it onto the dress. Or you can fold the edges under by 1/4 of an inch all the way around and sew the top edge down by itself so that you have an open edge for the girl to put her hand in, and then these edges you can sew onto the dress. For decorating the pockets, just let your creative juices run wild. I think I'm going to probably put the eyelet lace on there and maybe top it with a little bit of rickrack. If you have extra buttons, and by the way, you can add your own decorations that you might have in your supplies. You can add a button. This is a good place to also add the pocket, the Dress-A-Girl label to the pocket. And so go ahead and make your pockets, and then we'll get back together and talk about the rest of the body assembly. See you soon. I hope you had fun making your pockets. I've got my couple of pockets here with my Dress-A-Girl label, and we should lay out our fabric face down or right side down. I've got my 2 selvages here, which will be the back seam, and this will be my top, and this is my bottom. So you take your 2 selvages, match them up to be your back seam, and spread it all out, smooth it. And then The instructions say to bring the top to the bottom edge. And smooth it nicely. And this corner here is your center. Put a pin right in that very corner there. And I like to put one on these two sides because we're gonna make a straight line between this corner and these sides. Put that so it only goes through one layer. And open it up. Spread it out right side up. I like to put a tape measure all the way along that center line so that my pockets are level and the same on both sides. Then you take your pocket and go about an inch or two from the center line. There's my center line. And pin it down. And then you'll sew on the three sides. And be sure to backstitch and reinforce right up here because this is the most wear and tear that's going to happen as the girl puts her hands in the pocket. So sew that down and then I'll see you back. Okay, got your pockets on. This part is easy. We're just going to match up the two selvage edges to make our back seam. And if you have any raw edges, please now take the time to serge them or zigzag them or fold them under. And if you have a large or a medium dress, please leave a 5-inch kick pleat at the bottom. And so stop sewing 5 or 6 inches before the bottom and then sew down the inside selvage edge to the dress itself so it's not flapping around. So after we do that, I'll meet you back here. Hello again. So we've done our back seam and made our kick pleat, and you just want to sew down that seam allowance so that the pleat is flat and behaves well. Then we're going to do our hem, and we'll fold up a 1/4 inch and iron, and then another 1/2 inch. And we've been told that we should make the hem pretty long because the girls never have an opportunity to let a hem down. So we want to give them the maximum amount of material right now. So go and do your hem, and then when we come back, it's going to get a lot more fun and interesting. See you then. Hello, now we're in the section that is entitled Armholes, number 5. And with the right sides together, or the dress inside out, we will find the center front by stretching out the dress. So I've got my back seam on this side, and as I stretch it out, that will give me the exact center of the front on the other side. So put a little pin in there, and then we'll match the pin with this back seam. And that will give you the exact sides, and that's where we're going to put our armhole. So I'm going to flip mine over so the fold is on the side where you can still see the writing, I hope. So just, it says place on the fold, and this is the top. And just place it right there and either use pin or, I love these little clips I've learned about just in the last year or so. And the instructions talk about tracing around that line and cutting. Do whatever's comfortable for you. And once we get that cut out, I'll talk more later. Okay, welcome back. By the way, I heard that the Dress-A-Girl people are asking to save the armholes, and they are actually going to make a quilt out of all these armholes to demonstrate all the different fabrics that went together to make these beautiful dresses this year. So if you feel like doing that, you're welcome to. Okay, we're in section 6, preparing for the elastic casing. We're gonna fold down the top, front, and back a 1/4 inch and press it, and then fold down again. Now, the instructions say to fold down 1 1/4 inches, 1 inch to 1 1/4 inches. But it also goes on to say that you can fold it down a little more to make an extra ruffle at the top. I think that's so cute. That's what I'm going to be doing on this dress. So make sure you understand how wide your elastic is and how much of a channel it will need to go through. And excuse me, and then you can plan how high of a ruffle you want. So I'm going to be folding mine down 1 3/4 inches because the elastic that I have is 3/4 inch wide. So I have to add some extra for the room at the top. So go ahead and press and then stitch one line if you're just going to have a single channel, or stitch the 2 lines, and you can run your elastic through that and have a ruffle. Have fun. Hello again. Now is the time we're gonna put the safety pin on the elastic and run it through our channel. And of course, when you get it mostly through, attach the ends with a back and forth zigzag so it doesn't go all the way through. Just about to peek through there. So anchor it down. And push it all the way through and anchor it down on the other side, and then do it on the opposite side of your dress. Put the elastic through that channel too. I'll see you back after we do that. Now it gets really fun putting the straps over the top of the dress, and it'll really take shape now. You can pin them on the front or on the back side. I don't know that it makes any difference. I pinned mine about a little bit up from the bottom of the channel for the elastic across the yoke. So you can just do it like this, and we'll stitch them down tight. Just over you go. Make sure you don't have a twist. getting pretty thick through 2 layers of elastic. So I hope your machine is strong. And same on the other side. That one's not too straight. I gotta straighten that a little bit. There we go. Okay, once you get that done, I'll see you back here. Welcome back. Now we're on step 9 about the fabric straps. And it says cut the length of the straps according to the size listed on the measurement chart. And just to be safe, I would recommend that you look for this page that looks like a grid chart and find the size of the dress that you're making across the top. I'm making a large, and the fabric straps should be 24 inches long. So I'm going to double check and make sure that that's what I've got. So these are 24 inches long. Yippee. So what we're going to do with these straps is open them up. They're like a large bias tape. And you unfold them completely. And then fold them, match the 2 edges, right sides together, and form a loop. Make sure you don't have any twist in your loop. If you have a twist like this, it's going to be a problem. So it should be right sides together the whole way, and stitch them both together on that end. You can use about a 1/4 inch seam allowance. So I'll do that to both of mine and see you back here. Okay, I sewed my loop, and I pressed the seam open, and then I ironed it again to go down into the big wide bias strip, but it's not really bias. So we're gonna coax this around. I would start at the back of the dress. So here's my back seam. The instructions say to put the seam of the loop at the back of the sleeve opening. So this is the back of my dress, and I'm just going to place it down here so it's not into all this thickness. And we'll pin it going all the way around. Tuck everything deep into the folds of that strip. I'll come back when we're ready to sew. And one more thing I should have mentioned, when you're getting over the elastic, okay, I've pinned around the back and under the armholes, but when you get to the elastic, you do have to stretch it, especially when you sew. So you stretch it and pin it, and make sure when you sew that you don't catch the elastic in your little seam, because it does have to slide around in that in the strap there. So be careful when you pin it that you have enough of an edge to sew without catching the elastic. Okay, I've got my strap pinned all the way around, trying to make sure not to catch the elastic as it goes over the shoulder. And when we're stitching that, again, we'll stretch it out. One thing to watch out for is as you're stitching on this right side, to make sure you catch the strap on the wrong side so that you have both edges secured. So we will go ahead and start to sew this down. I've got a whole ton of pins in here to try and control this. This is the trickiest part, but it makes it all come together. You don't have to sew on the very, very edge, because if you have a little wider area for your stitch from the very edge, then you're assured of catching the back side a little better. Now we get to the stretchy part. Be careful of the pins. They're gonna stick you. You can feel the edge of the elastic through the fabric to try and stay away from it. Lots of stop and adjust and stop and adjust. We're almost there. Okay. Do the same on the other side. And check your sewing to make sure that you've got it caught on the underside. And your dress will be complete once you do your other one. Thank you very much. I hope this was helpful, and I appreciate your patience. This is my second video only, so I hope it was helpful and you have a good time sewing and feel great about making these dresses for these girls in need. Thank you.